I'm going to sneak in here right up front. If you guys haven't gone and check out Smokey Uncuffed yet, the podcast and the YouTube channel, you guys have got to get over there. You're going to be very excited to see who I interviewed last week. And it's this week's podcast. I could just catch up with him one day. It's old Daniel from Arms Family Homestead. It was a great interview. You guys should definitely go check it out. I think it's gold, and I think his viewers that are on here need to be pushing him to go to do a podcast too, because I think he'd be great at it. Welcome to Smokey CNC Woodworks. I'm Brian, and today I'm not going to do what I wanted to do. What I was really planning on doing was a order that I got from a lady, and I was all prepared last night. I was coming out to the shop right before I left. I pulled up the program to make sure everything was set up right, and I caught something. Had a little glitch in my programming, saw it, sat down, messed with it for about 20-30 minutes, and could not fix it. So I'm going to have to go back and rip that whole section out of that program, reprogram it so it cuts properly. So I'm not doing that one today. It happens. So today I'm going to answer some questions and go over just a few things. I'm going to talk about some bits that I use, some of the tool paths, and just show you some little tricks that answer some questions that I've gotten. So basically, if you can see my little drawing, just got a plain circle. I've got a circle with an outline, a star. It's not a pretty star, but it's a star, and a star with a box around it. When I get done cutting these, I'm going to use 3 different bits. I'm going to use, my old standby, my 90-degree V-bit. I use this one a lot. This one is I couldn't make it without this tool. This little bit right here probably does more cutting than anything else I use. These are not actually the ones I'm going to use here. This is a 1/4 inch end mill. You can see the end of it. It's flat, very sharp. What I do with it's a profiling tool path. It usually does the lines around things, and sometimes I use the bigger one to be a clearing one so I can clear out some area for me, so the 90-degree V-bit doesn't have to do all the clearing the big area. The third bit I'm going to use is called a ball nose. As you can see, it's rounded over the top. When I do 3D stuff, this is the bit that I use. I'm actually going to use a 1/8 inch ball nose and a 1/8 inch end mill for this little demonstration, just because the size of the board I would have to use to cut with a 1/4 inch bit and a 1/4 inch bit, because it would have been quite a bit bigger. And just for the sake of time, I want to do it on a smaller scale. So we're going to run over to the CNC shop, cut that real quick, and I'll be back on here and try to explain what's happening. Here we go. I'm just going to go from left to right. So right here you can see my pattern. This is with the 90-degree V-bit. You see it made, the circle is just an indentation now. That thing is just down in there. So whenever I put a circle inside of a circle, you can see that it just draws in between the two lines. That's one of my biggest questions I get, is that kind of circle, because people will make a selection in Vectric and they'll select the entire graphic that they're trying to do. Well, if you have a circle in there and there's something around it, a square or another circle, it's going to cut in between the two of them. So in other words, if you had a big square all the way around this thing and you had a little circle in here like that, just a plain little circle, it would clear all the area out here and leave that little circle. It's just the way the machine reads it when you program it that way. So the next one down, you saw the star right there, and the V-bit does awesome on stars. I mean, it makes a nice little pretty star. So it goes down, clears it out. Same principle, I had a star, I put a square around it, and it cleared the area around the star. So that's the biggest question I get asked, is when people have selected too many things that they're trying to cut with the V-bit, the way around that is selecting them one at a time, and you can still use the same bit. So you saw me cut a straight line here. I did that for this purpose. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, just to see that it's a point that's in there. It comes down to a V, thus a V-bit. So the next one was an end mill. This is clearly not the end mill I used. This is that 1/4 inch one. But you can see right here, the same kind of circle that I had drawn here, it just followed the line around the outside. That's called a profile toolpath. And that's generally what you cut with an end mill, is a profile. If you try to do a V-carve toolpath with an end mill, it really kind of makes a mess. I've tried it. So the next one, where it was a circle within a circle, the reason it's solid there, the first one cut on the line of the outside one, then on the line of the inside one, and the circle just happened to meet, making a solid circle. So then we'll move on down to the star for it right there. So again, it just followed the line of the star, did a little path around it, made a cool looking little star. It's not, I usually go with this look over here. So again, you put it inside the box, and instead of clearing extra area, it simply follows the every line that you have drawn. That's an end mill. Okay, now then for the old ball nose. It's the one with a rounded end. It's called a ball nose because the end of it looks like a ball. So right here, what I've done is I've actually done this with a V-carve toolpath. Usually this is the bit that I will use to do 3D graphics, because whenever it travels over things, it'll sit there and just go back and forth and go over it and over it. And usually they're a very long program, but they do come out looking cool. So you saw what this one did. This one actually looks a lot like the first one because it's a V-carve toolpath. So it went in there and made a nice solid round hole. Where this one has angled edges, this one has straight up and down edges. Same here, straight up and down edges, did the same kind of path as the other two. The star really looks a lot like, the star really looks a lot like the first star, except it can't get out in these points because of the rounded edge. I mean, it looks pretty good, but it's not what I would choose to do a star with. I will always go with a 90-degree V-bit. So on the star with the box around it, you can see it is a real squared edge around the edge of it. It cleared all the area around the star. Looks good. This still has a better look. It has a nice 45-degree slope. When you paint it up, it looks awesome. So on the edges of it, on the end mill, I don't know if we're going to get that. You can see it's squared off. And then on the ball nose, you can see that it's rounded off. So basically with this, the questions I'm answering the most are, if you have like a circle and a circle around it, it just clears in between there with a 90-degree V-bit. Now then, the way around that is to select just one circle, cut it, and select the other circle. If you do that with a 90-degree V-bit, you would think that would be correct, but it is not, because it will clear all this area out in here, and whenever you select this other one and do it, it will clear all the area out in between, wiping out the first circle. So it's just kind of tricky. You just kind of play with that and learn how and when to select on certain objects in your graphics. A bit more information about a couple of the bits that I showed you. So this is an end mill, and this is an upcut end mill. So whenever you see fuzzy edges around a lot of this stuff, it's because I'm using an upcut. What that means is whenever you use a downcut end mill that's spiraled the other way, what it will do will force the sawdust down into the cut that it's making and not leave that fuzzy edge. I actually don't have any of those right now. I've used up the ones I had. I really do like using them, just hadn't ordered them. And if y'all hadn't tried ordering anything off of Amazon or anything else right now, you're gonna be waiting. So the other one's a ball nose. If you're doing any kind of 3D, gold. I mean, enough gold that I actually have an 1/8 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch ball nose. This 1/2 inch ball nose, if y'all remember way back I was doing Wahoo boards, that's now what I use this for, and it just runs on a drill tool path, and it literally just sits there and just bounces, making holes, make them in a snap. I mean, they're a lot quicker. So guys, like I said right up front on this video, if you haven't checked out Smokey Uncuffed yet, oh, you gotta go check it out. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy interviewing these people. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm gonna be interviewing people all the time with the way things are in the world right now. I mean, I understand people don't want to have close proximity. I get it. I don't either, because I don't want this nasty virus going around. I don't want any part of it either. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I just wanted to throw some information out there, answer a few questions. Sorry I didn't have anything big to cut, but you know, things happen. I wasn't expecting my program to be messed up, but you know, at least I caught it before I got to doing it. Got the whole thing done and went, oh, that's horrible. I got to do it all over. Because the next one's actually going to be a really long cut. It's like over an hour. So I'm going to video it, but it may be next week, hopefully. So guys, that's it. If y'all haven't done so yet, please subscribe to Smokey CNC Woodworks, and don't forget about my Smokey Uncuffed, and I'll see y'all next time.